If you have found yourself unfortunate enough to come across this audio tape, good luck. You're gonna need it when you bear witness to
In Horror We Trust.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hello, friends.
Hello from the other world, the spooky Halloween world.
I was letting you cook, dude. I don't know why you stopped.
You shouldn't have let me cook. Don't let her cook.
Well, we're doing a little spooky October Halloweeny episode tonight.
If we have done ourselves justice and done you justice, you will hear this on Halloween.
Hopefully.
Boo!
So on today's episode, we're going to share some spooky stories.
Spooky stories.
For the most part, I believe they all tie into our personal lives a little bit, like their personal stories.
There's nothing better than a little campfire story. Warm your little hands and little feet up against the fire.
A little something scary for the Halloween time.
And let's hope that Jason doesn't bust through the door and kill us.
I mean, I don't live in the woods, so I think we might be okay.
Hey,
You never know. Never say never.
Jason in Manhattan, baby.
True. True. Eat my fucking words right now.
King Kane Hodder.
Shout out to the boy.
So, with that
I think-
being said,
Christine's gonna kick us off.
I'm gonna kick you off with a real scary story. Okay. So this was, God, almost like a decade ago. I was going through a little bit of a stressful point in my life. I was having some nightmares, and this nightmare that I had, I will tell you guys the nightmare, but it kind of bled into real life.
Oh, God.
And I, to this day, don't know if I was sleep deprived and hallucinating or if this actually happened and I should be scared shitless.
Wait.
But I try not to think about it.
I'm trying to think if I know this story.
I think you do. I think I've told you
do.
this story before.
And it's incredible.
And it's
But I'm
fucking
also
horrifying.
sorry. I'm sorry.
So if you know me in my personal life, you will know that I have quite the fear of clowns. Not fond of them, trying to get past that, but you know, it's a slow way from the pits of hell.
Give her a hand. She did get through Terrifier.
Yeah, I'm trying.
The first one.
I'm really doing my due diligence right now to just try to like expose myself to them so I don't cry every time somebody mentions a clown. But yeah, so around this time in my life, the fear was ripping strong. So the nightmares kind of goes like this. Mind you, this has been days of consecutive bad dreams. Every time I would fall asleep, I would dread having another nightmare. This wasn't like a continuation. It wasn't like a reoccurring. This night just so happened to bring about this nightmare. It's been a lot of years, so details are kind of not as prominent anymore. I try not to think about it. Out of sight, out of mind kind of situation. But okay. So it takes place around Halloween. This is, okay, again, reiterating, this is the dream, okay? So it's around Halloween time. I'm with a group of friends and we're checking out a new haunt. This haunt has taken over an abandoned parking structure in my hometown. And the whole catch with this is that we had to ride rollerblades or like roller skates through each level in order to go through this
Liability.
So we're all getting fitted for our skates. We're excited. We go into this maze. And the first few levels, Yeah, they're scary. It's dark. It's pitch black. We're giggling. We're riding on a high. We're having a good time. And then as we descend further, and we start from the top and we're descending lower. And as we're going through levels, I start hearing giggling. And I start hearing this tune that's being hummed. And I start getting like this primal fear where like the hair on my neck is standing up. And I'm like, I don't know why I don't like this. And I'm telling my friends that I'm getting scared. And they're like, that's the whole point. That's why we're here. Like, come on. So we're riding through. And then we get to the next level. And it's full of fucking clowns. And I lose it. And I'm practically in tears and I'm crying. And I'm telling my friends, like, we really need to get out of here. And there was one particular clown that latched onto me. And he was utterly fucking disgusting. He was a big man. He was wearing overalls with a white t-shirt. It had like grease stains on it. He looked sweaty. His grease paint was like caked on and like sweating off of his face. And he just looked like he stunk from a mile away. And he kept humming this tune. And he kept following me. And I would like try to skate away. And he would be like right behind me or right on my tail. And so I told my friends, I was like, I do not care about this maze anymore. I want to leave. And they're like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. So we skate down to the lower levels and we realize that there is no way out of this maze. So we're skating around, going deeper and deeper and deeper until we realize like we're like underground at this point. And we get to like the final room and I turn around and I see that that clown is like standing in the doorway. So we like shut the door and we like barricade ourselves in the room. And one of my friends picks up a chair and starts throwing it at a window that he sees to try to like break it open. Turns out that this wasn't a window. It was a television screen with like the image of a window like being televised on it. And so when he slammed the chair into the screen just like kind of fizzled and cracked. And then I woke up and I was like, I don't like this. And I was just like, I woke up in a sweat. I was just like, I could not get that tune out of my ear that this clown was humming. Like his face was imprinted in my mind. I was just scared, absolutely shitless. I did not go back to sleep that night. I think I had gotten maybe like 3 hours of rest. I was like, this isn't happening. I'm screwed for the day. So this is now real life, waking up and whatnot. Yeah. So I think I was supposed to go meet up with some friends that day. And I was running some errands before I went over to my friend's house. And so I was texting her and I'm like, hey, I'm at Walmart. I'll come meet you in a little bit. Do you need anything? She's like, no, just get here when you can. Text me when you're on your way. So I park my car, I get out, and I'm inside a Walmart. And I don't even remember what I was buying. It was just like normal stuff, like toiletries, whatnot. And I was in an aisle, and I'm picking out, I think, like shampoo or some shit. And I'm unconsciously doing something. And when my brain finally connects, I drop my basket and I start freaking out. And I realize that I am humming the tune that was from my dream. But what made it even scarier was I was humming it because somebody else was humming it. And this wasn't like a tune that was recognizable, that was from a movie, that was from a commercial, that was part of a song. It was something indistinct that like, it was literally only just in this dream. And the hair on the back of my neck stood up, like my fight or flight kicked in. I was like, who is humming this? How do they know what this is? Like, am I imagining this? I freaked out. So I dropped everything and I was like, okay, let's calm down right now. Like, pull yourself together. So I grabbed my stuff. I went into the next aisle and I see this man standing at the end of the aisle. And he was the one that was humming it. And he turned and he looked at me and his smile sent shivers down my spine. Like, I have never felt that way being in the presence of anyone ever before in my life. My body was just screaming, this is evil. You need to get away from it. And we made eye contact. And I was like, absolutely not. I don't need anything from Walmart anymore. I need to get the fuck out of here. So what's on my mind at this point is just like, get out. Like, you need to leave. So, of course, being like a girl, you're kind of second guessing it a little bit, and you're like, oh, you're just being dramatic. But I was like, no, like, I'm just gonna go. Like, I'm just gonna go to my friend's house. Nothing I need here is that important right now. So as I'm walking down the next aisle, I make it about halfway, and I see him come into that aisle again, or into the aisle that I'm in now. And I'm like, okay, I'm not imagining this anymore. This is really creepy. And he's still humming that tune. And so I'm like, okay, I need to leave. And there was nothing threatening looking about this person, like just from an outsider standpoint. Like, he looked like a normal middle-aged man, but something about him screamed like, get away from him. And so I dropped the basket. I was like, don't need this. And I beeline it for the front of the store. So I make it out of Walmart, and I get in my car, and I pull out of the parking lot. And as I'm leaving Walmart, something was like telling me, look out your window. And I look out my window, and this guy is standing on the curb, smiling at me and waving at my car. We made eye contact as I drove away. And to this day, I don't know if I was hallucinating, if it really happened, if I was just sleep deprived and my brain was playing tricks on me, or if the demon that was in my dream crawled out and met me in real life. But I have never been that scared in my life. I don't know how to explain it.
Wow.
But that was, my scariest moment.
What a fucking story, Christine.
And if you ask me, I could not fucking hum that tune today.
I wouldn't want you to.
But I feel like if I heard it, I would probably cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Fight or flight.
Yep.
Listen to your instincts.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
For real.
From our
listen to them.
little murderino friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially
Fuck being polite.
warnings about someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't owe anyone anything. You know. Just listen to that little voice.
I don't know.
In your stomach.
I don't know what that guy was up to. I don't
Yeah.
know if he was gonna kidnap me and take me to go meet the clowns in real life. But like, I wasn't.
Straight out of a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Let's make this movie. No, just kidding.
I've always kind of
of
like toyed with that idea that this would make for a cool script, but I don't know if I'd be able to like live this
Really?
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You don't want to bring.
I don't know if I want to bring
jinx
that to
yourself
life.
kind of thing.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
ever want to meet that man again.
I have a fucking theory, or like what I believe from that is that somehow, because I've heard kind of, I mean, you know, not as something close to that, but like a similar. I've heard stories where people experience something before, like, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
Like
a premonition of sorts.
Yeah, and like, you know, it sounds crazy or whatever, but like I really feel like something was telling you, like, you're gonna run into this person. They are possibly an evil person, and like you're somehow got a warning of it beforehand.
That,
you know?
I never thought of it that way. And that actually makes it 10 times scarier.
Oh yeah, because it's so realistic. But I mean, that I'm sorry, that's just my little theory. But like, obviously, it's like how? But like, I just feel like there's something out there. You know, I don't put a label on it, but energies or like just crazy, you know, happenstances, or who knows, you know, like some kind of being that like gave you a message.
Honestly, though, like. I've never thought of it that way, and trying to like rationalize it in my head, that makes more sense to me than thinking I was just like crazy and sleep deprived at that point, you know?
Because like I think I could say we're both, especially you, are on the spiritual side.
Yeah.
I don't think like I don't like to, you know, I grew up Catholic, but I don't really practice, you know, anymore. Yeah. But like I do have kind of a faith in something higher than me. I don't know what to call it or whatever. But I just feel like there are energies or spirits that there's crazy stories out there where something similar like that has happened, and it's like giving someone a message. You know those 9/11 like stories where something told them to stay home from, you know, like
something told them to stay.
Obviously there are
like,
coincidences, but like
it's kind of like the
guided.
Burnt toast theory.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of that theory, where it's like you burn your toast and like it prevents you from like
Right.
like it stalls you for 5 minutes from like going to work, but that prevents you from like getting into like a really horrible car accident.
Exactly.
Like maybe this was my burnt toast.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how it feels.
Yeah.
But that is crazy.
No, looking at it from that lens, I'm like, maybe my dreams saved me from winding up like in a fucking red room on the dark web with some like creepy clown.
Jesus Christ. Imagine that would be so crazy if he actually has like a clown thing, or if that was just like, you know, your subconscious knows that that's what you fear most, and so that was a way to get through
I think that's probably more realistic, because I think if it was just like an average dream, it may not have stuck with me to the extent of like my subconscious putting a clown like in that dream.
The humming detail is just so crazy.
That's what like sent my fear through the roof. Like, I feel like if it was just a creepy dude smiling, I probably would have been like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're weird. And I probably just would have like made my way to the other side of the store. Even with instinct screaming, I don't think I would like, and again, I don't know if this is just like a female thing where you're just like, you kind of ignore your instincts because like you don't want to seem crazy, even if it is to yourself. But I feel like it kind of would have been one of those moments where you're just kind of like, oh, I'm being crazy. Like, he's a weirdo, but you're fine. It's the middle of the day, you know? But I think because of that tune, I was just, that part throws me off. Like, your theory makes so much sense to me. But that humming, like, I don't know where that came from, and that drives me crazy, because I'm like, how?
Yeah. Because, like, I'm sure someone could say, like, oh, maybe some point in your life, in your subconscious, you heard this, but you don't recognize it or remember it. But either way, that doesn't change the fact of how you felt. And, like...
And... Other people that I've told this story to have said that. They're like, maybe you heard this like years ago when you were a kid and you just like don't consciously remember it. But, which I'm very valid. That could be the case.
But what are the chances of the night before and then hearing this, you know, very alarming person? I think it was, I think it was a warning. I think that dream saved your life, Christine.
I think so too.
Kind of. You know?
I think so too.
That I remember.
I could have been a statistic.
That's
it's scary to think about.
Dreams don't make cycles. Dreams make cycles more creepy. No, just kidding. Or
it's the millennium.
Man, I remember you telling me that. Fucking crazy.
Have never, since that day, have never had a dream that even closely relates to it. Haven't had that tune in my head. Nothing.
That backs up my theory more.
It was just a one and done kind of situation, which I'm very fucking thankful for, because I don't want to know what happens after that point in the dream. I have no curiosity about that whatsoever. Like, I'm cool. That can live deep inside of my brain and stay there.
My God.
Watch I dream of it tonight, dude.
I am so sorry if you do.
No, I probably
watch
won't.
something happy.
I haven't had nightmares like that since then too. That's so good. If I do, it's just like a cute little like spooky, but not like I can't go back to sleep kind of situation.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Ooh, hard to follow that up.
No, not even.
My story is different. Definitely different. Spooky.
Spooky. Let's hear it. Give it to us, Carissa.
The year was...
Okay. So this story was like 8 or 8+ years ago, which I can't believe it's been that long already. This story takes place on the Queen Mary ship in Long Beach, California. If you don't know, Queen Mary is a historical old steamship that is permanently docked in Long Beach now. It is a like museum and hotel. It is honestly a very, very cool place to stay. It is known for being haunted.
Yes.
They have tours, haunted tours, where you get to go through like all kinds of parts of the ship, where they have reported hauntings that repeat. Like there's supposedly a little girl that haunts the swimming pool, the boiler rooms where a worker had died. I think in like, it was like one of those hatch doors or something like that. Boiler rooms were they were terrifying because they're so dark and cavernous.
I agree. I've done one of the haunted tours there, and the boiler room was horrifying, and it was so dark.
Right.
So dark.
There is also what they had said is like the most haunted room, which is closed to like people can't stay in it. I don't know if that's changed. That'd be kind of crazy if that policy has changed, but they had gutted it. At least when I went, it was gutted and like sealed off. Like people couldn't stay there or go in. I don't know if they changed where tours go in that room now.
So when I went, they wouldn't even show us the room. They showed us the hallway, but we found out what room it was, and the room didn't even have a number on it because I guess people would consistently steal the plaque.
Oh man.
And we put our ears up to the door and we heard what sounded like a television playing. So we're like, are there people staying in there, or was it just fucking haunted?
Right. Because like, which I'll get into in my story, but like the walls are pretty thin on the ship, so like maybe it was from a dining room, but I wouldn't.
Well could have been,
you know. But yeah, there's like, I remember on the tour seeing that room. I think it was like B300 something. I don't know. But there's like the door, but it had a little slit, almost like it was like a two-part door where
kind of like something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't think it opened like that, but for some reason there was a slit in the
separation
door.
like that.
Yeah, a separation in the middle, and you could kind of peek in.
Peeking in.
I remember because with my family, we would like to explore at night, like a lot of people do when they stay over. They explore the ship at night. There's like a lady in white reported seen in the hallways. Always a lady in white. But yeah, I do remember feeling, I don't know if it was just me in my head, but feeling a little lightheaded visiting that room at night. But anyway, that is beside my personal story on this ship. So, me, my mother, and my mom's boyfriend at the time went to stay on the Queen Mary on Halloween. And we were doing the Dark Harbor horror experience there. So it's a big, kind of horror festival. They have scare actors and mazes and whatnot. But you can also stay on the ship overnight, like always. But, I have always been interested in the paranormal, just get that spooky thrill. I hadn't had anything like that I had experienced before. My mom has. She has some stories. But I loved watching Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters growing up, so I was pretty stoked. And I think I had stayed on there before, but hadn't experienced anything. But yes, this time we get to the ship and get into our room kind of earlier in the afternoon, just to get settled before the festivities started at night. We brought costumes. Well, okay. My mom and her boyfriend forgot their costumes. I had mine. So they drove all the way home, Inland Empire. Because
from the Queen Mary?
From the Queen Mary. Because my mom was like, she loves Halloween.
Yeah.
She loves to dress up.
She was invested.
Yeah. So they freaking drove back. And I was like, I don't want to drive back. So I stayed in the room alone.
How old were you?
High school.
Okay.
I was a Mikasa from Attack on Titan that year. But yeah, I was like, I want to stay here. I'll just wait for you guys. It's going to be like an hour and a half both ways or something like that. An hour and a half. But it's still light out, so I wasn't too
You weren't too scared?
Yeah, my mom was pissed. But yeah, she goes home. And so I'm staying in the room, and it was a room that started with an A. I don't remember the full room number, but I remember looking up the room just to see if it had any reports, little haunted reports made about it from people who had stayed there. And I did see it come up in some paranormal page, like someone posted about experiencing something in the bathroom, like the faucet would turn on or the door would close on its own. Ooh. And I was like, oh God. And so just to give you an idea of what the room layout was like, because this just adds to freaking atmosphere later on. But once you enter the room from the hallway on the ship, it's the larger main room with like a king bed, queen or king, and TV and stuff. It's the larger room. Then to the right, there's like a little narrow hallway that goes down to another part of the room. And so the hallway goes down just a little bit, and then it opens up into the other section, which has 2 twin beds that are kind of facing each other with a like little wall kind of separating them. And then the bathroom is in the corner of that room. I did not want to stay in that room because I just thought it was creepy, and it was a little too separated from where my mom and her boyfriend would be staying.
Yeah.
And then the bathrooms there, which is where the reports were. So I was like, no, I'm not staying in there alone. Like sleeping at night, I know I get in my head at night like any kid does, and you start imagining things, and then you're gonna have a haunted bathroom right staring at me, you know? No. So before we get to that, while I'm waiting for my mom and her boyfriend to get back, I try to do my own little EVP session. So I take my phone and do the voice memo, and I start recording, and I like ask some questions. I actually posted this on Reddit before, so I do have specific notes. It was A116 was the room. So I had been asking questions on the EVP, and then at one point I said, "Say something, I'm here to listen."
Oh God.
I know. I was like, obviously inviting.
Yeah.
But so I play it back, and when I get to that part, I hear it's very faint, but substantial enough to where it was a whisper, and it said, "Hey." It was like, "Hey."
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
Do you still have that recording?
No, sadly, it was on an
probably
older
for the
iPhone.
best.
I know.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, it is faint, but like it was definitely enough. Like it was faint enough to where I don't think it would have come from outside, even though the walls are thin, to where it was like close enough or clear enough to sound like in the room.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you only hear it when you played the audio back, or did you hear it while you were asking the question?
I only heard it when I played the audio back.
Oh God, how scary.
Yeah, I've watched enough of the ghost shows to be like, that happens.
Oh gosh.
I was excited though at this point.
Were
I was
you?
still excited. I was a little like, ooh. But that's all I had found through the recording. And so I showed my mom, and she was a little like, ooh, but also kind of like, I don't know.
She's skeptical.
It's so funny because she is such like not a skeptic until like I bring up shit. She's like, nah, like she's had experience.
Maybe she's just like actually scared, and the way that she copes with it is like by brushing it off,
or that instinct to be a protective mother. Like, don't worry,
you're like you're fine. Don't be scared.
Exactly. So we, when they get back, I show them, and again, my mom was like a little excited, but also a little skeptical. Her boyfriend was actually pretty like, oh, wow. And then we go out for the night and do all the festivities, go through the mazes. It's a great time. Super fun. I do recommend Dark Harbor, especially because they do some of the mazes through the ship and in the boiler room. Pretty cool. So we get back to the room, and we're starting to head to bed. Just seeing the room at night and dark, in the little dark hallway that goes into just the black pit of the other section with the twin beds and the bathroom, I was like, no. I chose to stay in bed with my mom and her boyfriend. So I was like, my mom was in the middle and I was on the edge. But I was on the edge of the bed that directly, like if I was on my side, it's just facing that hallway to that other section of the room. And it's just dark. It's just darkness in there. It's just, the door frame, darkness. So I kind of fall asleep, and there's a moment I wake up. I don't know what woke me up. It must have been a noise, because I started to hear shuffling in that hallway, like just movement. I couldn't exactly pinpoint like what the movement was. Like it didn't sound like it was like walking up to me, but it was just like movement right in that hallway. And there's also a little dresser, like some drawers in the hallway before you get to the beds. And I heard like, it sounded like the drawer moving or being pulled out or pushed in.
Oh, God.
I don't quite remember. And like a little bump of the dresser or something. And so I was already just very terrified because, you know, there's not supposed to be movement next to me in this darkness. My mom and her boyfriend were asleep. And it wasn't super loud to where, it woke them up, but I'm kind of a light sleeper. So yeah, I could not sleep. I was just terrified. I didn't want to look at that area, so I just stayed on one side facing my mom, and I was like, I cannot look over there because if I see something, I just can't. And I have never experienced anything like this or heard noises that weren't supposed to be there. And it's just like right in the room, just movement. So yeah, I was terrified, stayed on my one side, couldn't bring myself to look at it. And then I don't know how long it was after hearing these noises. Like, I don't know if I kind of started dozing or not. I feel like I didn't because I was freaking terrified. The movement stopped. I hear jewelry box music. Like,
oh no!
Straight in a horror movie, crystal clear. Like, right in the room, right by me. And it starts to move around the foot of the bed.
I just got chills.
I know, I'm getting chills talking about it. Crystal clear, like it was not outside. I know the walls are thin. I could hear people walking down the hall earlier on or like them talking, but it was muffled. It had that other side of a wall muffled to it. This was absolutely crystal clear. Just that, tinkling like sound of it rotate, you know what I'm talking about, how the music sounds in a jewelry box, how that maneuver is, like how it plays. And it started to move around the foot of the bed, and I feel my mom's boyfriend sit up, like bolt upright.
Oh no.
And like I turn over and I'm like, do you hear that? And he's like, yeah. And then my mom, half asleep, mumbles, what, the music? And I'm like, yeah. And I still didn't want to look. I couldn't look. I was like, if I see a little fucking girl, I'm going to lose my shit. Or anything, So I wasn't looking. I was still like on my side, just like looking at my mom and her boyfriend. He didn't see anything, but he sure as shit heard it too. And after that, it's just kind of a blur because it did stop. But that was the last thing I expected to hear, and it was absolutely terrifying. And I think I didn't sleep the rest of the night.
I don't think I would have either.
I did not sleep. There was another point where like I heard movement, like something move at the door to the front door. But that one was just a staff member sliding like a paper under the door, and that was like later on, like in the morning. So I was completely terrified. I had never experienced anything paranormal again, and I'm glad I didn't see anything, even though there were times in my life where like I wish I experienced something a little spooky paranormal. That was the scariest moment.
I got my
life.
taste.
Yeah,
I'm good.
And in the morning when I told my mom, I was like, hey, do you remember that? And she was like, no, she didn't remember, and she didn't believe me. She's like, I think you guys are trying to fuck with me.
Oh, she didn't believe her boyfriend either?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I'm sure she does deep down, but she just, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you guys are trying to, freak me out. And I'm like, no, I swear to you, you even woke up and like, recognized that there was music playing.
Yeah.
But and like, if it was not somebody passing by, who would be playing fucking jewelry box music?
That's horrifying.
Like, I get maybe some people would think like, oh, maybe, someone was trying to scare people.
Yeah.
But it was like in the room.
Yeah. But for it to like for you to audibly hear it that close
Yeah.
is kind of wild.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, if you had like opened your eyes and looked, would you have been able to see anything? Like, was there like light seeping into the room, or was it as pitch black as you say, like the hallway and the other room was?
It was pretty dark. I don't remember there being substantial moonlight coming in through the little ship window
Yeah.
or anything, but I feel like there was, when your eyes adjust
Yeah.
and you can vaguely make out
Yeah.
shapes, but still very dark.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm
if I
just
saw a figure of any
God.
like dark, mass.
Yes.
Man, I'm so glad I didn't look
Yeah.
or heard like a voice
horrifying.
after. It was just movement but
I don't know if I would be brave enough to stay
Yeah.
at the Queen Mary. Like, it sounds like fun, but it also
Right.
sounds like the potential to
Yeah.
be.
I've stayed there a few times.
Yeah.
And that was the only time I have really experienced something there.
Yeah.
Um,
That would be
I would
enough
be
for-
nervous to stay there.
Yeah,
again,
that would
to
be enough
honest.
for me to be like, I'm good.
Yeah. And man, what the power of sound. I mean, this was real life, but like just with horror in general, like
Yeah.
I didn't even see anything, but the sound, obviously it shouldn't have been there. And it was like the creepiest sounds you could freaking like,
Sound
Imagine.
seems to play a theme
Yeah.
with us.
yeah.
You and your little music box, me and my humming,
Yeah.
us and the
Oh
clicking.
my God. Oh,
Like a
remember
sound.
that, guys?
I think we've mentioned that story to y'all before.
When
the clicking.
We had watched Hereditary.
Yeah.
And this, I heard it first. In our room when we lived together in Santa Barbara.
And I thought Chris was being crazy. I was like, Krista, shut the fuck up.
But-
like,
I heard the fucking what sounded like just like the tongue click in Hereditary.
until I heard it with her one night.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, hell no.
And I didn't know if it was Adam because Adam was staying with us at the first time I heard it, and I was like, "Is he fucking with
We
me?"
were
But he was asleep.
We were convinced that somebody was playing a joke on us until Krista moved out. And then I heard it on my own one night.
Yeah,
And I was like,
that's also what substantiated it for me.
absolutely not.
Because I was like, it really wasn't Adam fucking
Yeah.
with me and playing
We-
it cool.
We still don't know what it was.
Yeah,
We still don't know.
disgusting. I was like, is this a fucking? Because we would have the window open, and I was like,
Is it a bug?
yeah,
Like-
what the fuck kind of bug sounds
Yeah.
like?
And it was very
Maybe there
distinct.
is.
It was a very distinctive tongue click. Like
Yeah,
there was no
sound just like the-
mistaking what that sound
Yeah.
was.
God,
Yeah.
disgusting.
What's with us and sounds?
Sounds.
I think that's the worst thing too. Like I feel like hearing something.
Yeah, because then your
Your
mind
mind just-
conjures
yeah.
up to match
Yeah.
it or whatever.
Your
The
mind
fear
goes
of-
wild.
yeah,
I feel like
Fear
if
of
you were
not
to
knowing.
see something, you could convince yourself that like you didn't see it.
right.
But like hearing something,
Mhm.
oh,
I mean, there's so many times where like when they show the whole monster or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends like on how they build it up, but it's like
Yeah.
I didn't, if they hadn't shown,
Yeah.
if they showed less of it, it would have been scarier,
Yep.
kind of thing.
I agree. That's a scary. That's horrifying, dude. Ugh.
Yeah,
You want to stay at the Queen Mary?
I do.
Should we?
honestly?
Should we do it one night?
We should
and
do an
we
episode
should.
there.
Yeah, we
Or
could. We
something.
could just like record while we're there and see if our recording picks
Oh
anything up.
my god, that'd be crazy.
Should we do it?
We should. We live in.
Yeah. Don't
Just-
fucking delete that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just doxed
Can
us.
you just?
We'll delete that part.
Can you just bleep over that, Adam? We live in beep.
That's so funny.
You doxed us. No, but seriously, we should totally stay there and record an episode.
Yeah, I
I'd be
do
down.
miss that place.
Yeah.
It's calling me back.
And then I can just sage the shit out of us when we
Yeah.
leave so
Yeah.
we don't bring anything back.
Right. No.
I say we do it.
But bringing it back to my mom.
Yes.
What's funny is she was like not believing me there, and she's like the most gullible and like she just believes, she's not
Yeah.
a skeptical by any stretch. So this happened, and I kind of rationalized this story. So I was like rationalizing myself, because I don't know. Anyway, we had gone to Zack Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. highly recommend. Although if you are very nervous about that kind of stuff, like possible
Possession.
like attachments or demonic stuff,
Taking stuff home with you.
yeah, if you believe in that and are very nervous about it, maybe don't, but you could always bring protections,
Do your
cleanse yourself.
research.
Yeah, do your research, yes.
He's got a lot of like very infamous haunted shit in that place.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it is a fantastic museum.
Yeah.
Add one with us. It's like so well curated and so well done. I would for sure go again. But I didn't have like a crazy story myself. Go. Yeah, no, seriously, I'm down to do all the spooky stuff.
We should do the Queen Mary and record in there, and then we should go to the museum and record afterwards and talk about our experience.
Yeah, yeah. No, seriously, I'd be so interested.
Yeah.
But yeah, there have been several people who have gone through the museum and have had an experience, physical or just like an emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
And
Hell
like,
no, man. Yeah.
Like just seeing the amount of protection they put in that room. It's in a like thick glass case, and it has like Hebrew protection writing around it.
So apparently when Post Malone touched it, like they had lifted the glass off of the bottle. Yes. I'm like, no
way, dude.
No way. I wouldn't want to even be in that room.
That thing has
a protection off of it.
Links to several, I think several deaths. Yeah, of people who had owned it. Yeah. But there have been several like physical maladies associated with it from people who had owned it or been around.
Is a movie about that. I think it's like what's his name? Isn't it Jeffrey D. Morgan? I think isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Oh man, the possession or the position. I think
I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
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 I haven't seen it, but I wonder if it tells like the lore of.
I think it does a little bit, or at least one of the stories. Yeah. Well, Zack Bagans does have a show. I think it's called Haunted Museum or something like that, but it goes through. It has like dramatizations of the actual stories behind a lot of the infamous objects in there. Very cool.
Would you say that is the most infamous thing he has in the museum? Or do you not remember? It's okay if you don't. I think
so. I mean, he has a lot of like there's some like a serial killer room that has a lot of like the most infamous serial killers, like something they've owned.
Have you ever been to the Museum of Death in Hollywood?
No, Adam and I have been wanting to go.
Oh my god, talk about serial killer room.
I saw a show on that went through there. Yeah.
I've been to it. Oh man. And the serial killer room's intense. They have like sorry, I don't mean to take away from your story, but this is just interesting to me. But they had like John Wayne Gacy drawings that he like drew in prison. Yeah. They had like letters that like Ted Bundy wrote. They had the bunk beds that were in the God, what is it called? This is gonna sound so insensitive, but the Kool-Aid people.
Oh yeah,
Jim Jones.
Jonestown.
Yeah, like the Jonestown cult. They had like the bunk beds that they slept in.
That is
like it. Oh, that place is so just like real life scary. Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. If you're curious, check it out.
Yeah.
It's worth a tour.
The Haunted Museum.
But please tell us more.
So my mom's experience kind of is also related to the Dybbuk room.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the Dybbuk room, they have the Dybbuk box again, like encased in this thick glass that has, Hebrew like protection, like writing that's a protection around it.
Yeah.
And the guide said there's a little spot where you can give an offering, kind of like, it's almost like an appeasement, like,
okay,
don't follow me, don't like, affect me kind of thing.
There you go.
Yeah,
like, I mean no harm.
Yeah. Like, and so there's a little, it doesn't have to be money, it's just anything.
Like, what do people offer it?
Anything. You don't have to, but it's just like they're like, if you're just encouraged, so it could be anything you have that you're willing to give up. They don't ask for money, so it's not a little gimmick thing. So people have left like very random stuff, even like just trash. I mean, I would say not trash, but like stuff people can discard, you know, not just grubby trash, because I'm sure they Spirit would be angry.
Like,
But
what is this straw wrapper?
Yeah. So like my mom was like, oh, I don't know. She had this specific card. Do you remember what it was? It was like a specific. Was it a business card or like a?
She just like put her curse on that business.
No, it wasn't hers. She doesn't have a business or anything.
No, but it was like somebody else's.
I don't know.
I thought it was the tag from her luggage. The type of luggage she had.
I don't remember. Yeah, it was a little like a product. It could have been. I don't remember.
Like a tag of some sort.
Yeah, a tag or card of some sort that I think was related to a product she had or something. I don't know.
Okay.
She's just like, I don't know. She didn't want to give anything bigger than, she didn't have anything else she could part with, really, at least.
Just like,
Yeah.
rip off a button, all like,
Yeah.
here you go.
So, yeah, she just put that in the little dish and then we continued on. And, like, I didn't have. There was a part which it was like kind of a basement area that was also a creepy. And I forgot what was. Oh, I feel bad. I forget what was in that exhibit, but it was in the basement area. Do you remember? Was it like? I don't remember what it was we went to, but
Okay.
I know there was reported experiences of like a lot of strong feelings or instances in there.
Okay.
And I just remember feeling pretty lightheaded getting down there. But that's about it that I had happen to me. But so we get out of the museum, we return to our hotel room, and she's like going through, she always uses the safe in her hotel room. She's very anal about that. And she looks in it and she sees the card that she was very sure she put in the dish. It was in there.
Absolutely not.
Where wasn't it? Do you remember? It was in the safe. And she pulls out and she's like, wait, like
I would have.
I put this in there. And like, to be fair, it was a very general piece. Like my rationalization was like, maybe there was 2 that came with the bag and she just had,
I like that she rationalizes
Exactly.
your fear and
Exactly.
rationalizes.
I know.
And I'm over here like, I would have peed.
Yeah. And so she was freaked out. But because I'm also like, my mom can be very forgetful sometimes.
Absolutely.
Or everyone can.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was like, I don't know, maybe you just had a copy or they gave, there was 2 that came with this bag or whatever. I don't know. But she's like, but why would it be in the safe? Why would I put it in there? It's like just a little thing.
That's
I'm like,
very
true.
valid. That's super valid.
Yeah, so she was freaked out, and when we got home, I have a video of it. But she definitely saged the house.
That's so funny. Can I watch that video?
Yes, we can even play the audio of her.
Please do.
Exhale the bad. Bless this home. Bless this home. Inhale the good. Exhale the bad. Bless this home. Bless this home. Let the light shine through. Let the light
But
shine.
it is like, yeah, it was funny. I was like, oh, mom. But, it's very valid for her to be scared. Or
Hey.
like, who knows?
Better safe than sorry.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was freaked out.
So crazy.
I think she would go again, but she would be like very on guard.
she should come with us.
Yeah.
I think she would have fun.
We need to get her on an episode. It'll be funny.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, that was just a fun little
That's wild.
experience. But
Oh man, Adam,
Mr. Adam,
you got any spooky stories for us?
hold up. Let me just move it.
Some spooky stories.
Hello. Okay, yeah. So I have 2. One's like a shorter one, and then that'll kind of like preface the next one. So, my mom always mentions this one story, and I don't really remember it too well. Obviously, I was 3 years old, and my grandpa had been in the hospital for lung cancer. He was like a heavy smoker, like so much so that even while in the hospital, he would have like cigarettes in his socks, just like hiding them from the nurses, and they'd be like, "Hey, knock that off." And so we'd been like back and forth, kind of like visiting him and stuff. And my mom stopped at McDonald's to get some food, and we're like literally in the drive-thru, and I'm in the back just out of nowhere, I say like, "Hey, Mom, we need to go to the hospital now. Like, I'm pretty sure Grandpa needs us." And she's like, "Okay." And so like we rush over to the hospital, and by the time we had gotten back, it was like when my grandpa was passing away. And so fast forward, my mom always kind of sees that as like, he's got like a connection or whatever. And this was around 2020, 2021-ish, but my grandma had passed away, and there was like enough notice beforehand that we got pretty much all the family together. And we went out to Hollister, which is where my aunt stays. And it was like a heavy day, It was like, obviously there's like funeral planning and stuff, but like, it was cool to see everybody kind of connected and on the same page. And like, it was like this like farewell. But we get back to the house, and like I'm getting ready to go to bed. I'm setting up my blanket and stuff, and my aunt is in the shower, and some of my other aunts and my mom are like, they're just like walking through the house and stuff and chatting and talking. And family had been like filtering in and out of both my mom's house, where we first stayed like to see my grandma, and then now to my aunt's house. Like we had just been kind of like going in and out and like seeing each other, leaving, and so forth. And so this night, as I'm getting ready, I hear a voice outside of the house that's like calling my name. I hear, "Adam, Adam." And I'm like, okay, so my cousin's out there probably. They just probably parked, and they just need help bringing like groceries and stuff. It's been like happening for the last couple days. So I'm like finishing up, and I start to head over there, and I like check outside, and there's nobody there. There's like no cars or anything. Everybody who is at the house is inside the house, and they're getting ready to go to bed, basically. And yeah, so mind you, my aunt's house is in Hollister. It's like on the top of a hill. There's like maybe one other house like way down the hill, and then there's just like farmland all around. So there's no way I could have just like heard like suburban noise or whatever.
It was also your specific name.
It was also my specific name.
I mean, I know Adam's like not an uncommon name, but still.
And it sounded directly outside the house too. So I'm like weirded out. And then my aunt comes out of the shower, and she's like, "Wait, who was that outside?"
Oh, she heard it too?
And she heard it too. And then I had my other aunt said the same thing. She said she heard somebody outside. And I'm like, who could it have been? Like, yeah. And like we're all kind of looking and trying to figure it out. Like there's like kids' toys in the corner, and I'm like pressing them and stuff and see like what they say. None of them say anything close to Adam or the way that I heard it. And we're like trying to figure it out. And like the first thing that one of my aunts says is like, "Was that grandma? Like, was she saying Adam? Like maybe she's here with us, And yeah, it was kind of like a heavy thing to sit through, like thinking about that. But yeah, it was just really like hard to.
Adam was very close to his grandma, and he was like her caretaker for a while, like directly. So I feel like there is a connection.
That's like kind of scary and comforting all at the same time. Yeah. Wild. Adam's like a little death doula over here.
Hello? Communicate with the past?
All right, let me know if I'm coming up,
Please don't let me ever know. Just let me.
You're just gonna be looking at me extra fond.
Yeah.
Like saying a farewell.
If you ever hear my voice calling out, like just ignore it. Don't tell me. Just let me go in peace.
You're Haley Joel Osment? Just kidding.
Oh.
No.
He doesn't see dead people.
Sound guy. That's why he's always been in sound.
Again with the sounds. The three of us, dude.
It's a powerful sense, guys.
It's powerful.
Listen.
Open your ears.
La la la. Okay. No, that was sad, but yeah, like you said,
sad, but also like
comforting
and a little bit scary all at the same time. I think your story was like the most grounded in reality out of ours, though.
Right.
Oh man.
But yeah, those are little spooky spooks.
Little scary stories for this scary season.
Yeah. You know, here's to more. We're gonna cleanse ourselves.
I swear to God, if I hear anything tonight, I blame you both.
No, I don't take cleansing ourselves lightly. I'm not joking.
No, we're not.
Like, I don't
I literally have stuff to cleanse.
Yeah. Like, I respect
sitting
it,
on this table. No, I know you do.
Yeah, like, we're not just saying that just to
we're
say
not.
it.
We're not. I take this very seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to experience anything tonight. Not down for it. I think I've gotten past that age where it's like fun and cool and like let's see.
Like, I mean, danger.
I feel like for the podcast it would be entertaining, but outside of that, just for the thrill, like I've experienced too much of this shit for it to like be cute anymore.
I'm still deep. I'm just
She's
kidding.
like, give me all this.
Well, I'm like, when am I going to that haunted museum again?
I mean, like, go play with a Ouija board, see what happens.
No. That, surprisingly, well, I mean, my dad was very Catholic. Well, he always told me, he's like, don't.
Have you ever played with one?
No, I haven't.
Good for you.
Yeah, my mom has.
Have you, Adam?
No, my mom has forbid it.
Good.
Yeah.
You're good kids.
My dad said don't ever.
I've played with one, being a stupid fucking teenager. Do not recommend. Do not recommend. Just don't do it.
Hasbro.
And if you're gonna do it and just not listen, like so many people out there, just I think don't put any like what's the word that I'm looking for?
Negative.
No, they just don't really put any thought into it, whether it's like something's gonna happen or not. They're just like, oh, it's just it's a Hasbro toy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, follow the fucking rules. That's all I gotta say. Just follow the rules.
Say goodbye.
Say
Close
goodbye.
it out.
Close it out. Don't do it in your house.
Yeah.
Follow the rules.
True.
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah. I think I'm good on that actually. That's something I don't know about. Yeah, I don't think I would do any kind of ritual unless it was like just a urban legend game. But even then, you never know.
No.
But like no, I wouldn't do a not like the ones we talked about. Not that intense.
I'm not trying to play Three Kings.
No, I'm just talking about like Bloody Mary. I've done, something a little more.
Yeah.
Not intense.
Saying Bloody Mary or Candyman in the mirror, I feel like is just a rite of passage.
I would not do anything that's like multi-step, like very ritualistic seeming. No.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. Our episode, hell no. I would never play those games.
Yeah. Man, that's funny.
Yeah. Would you guys play those games? Would you play with the Ouija board? Would you stay at the Queen Mary?
Do it.
I would like to stay at some more haunted places. Yeah.
Like, what's another haunted place that we haven't spoken about that you would want to go check out?
Well, I've been there before. I love it, but I would like to go with you, the Whaley House in San Diego.
Oh, that'd be really fun. Yeah.
That one's cool. I have a photo, and I don't know if it's my memory being false, but I remember my whole family, or like the people who were with me at the time, being a little weirded out by it too.
Yeah.
I mean, some people trying to rationalize it, but my uncle took a picture of me on the step, like the stairs, and they say like there's a certain step or whatever where something usually might show up in your photo.
Oh, okay.
Or you might have an experience. And so I was standing on that step, and I was pretty young. But yeah, took a picture, we got it printed.
Yeah.
And there is, from my memory, which again may not be the most reliable at this point, there was a face in the corner that was kind of like peeking around the wall. And yes, there were other guests there walking around and stuff.
Yeah.
But in my memory, this fucking face was fairly ghostly. And like, I remember there not really being a distinct nose. Like, it almost looked like the nose was like missing. Like the skull, like just the socket.
Yeah.
From my memory. And like the hair was.
This was in a photo?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the photo.
Yeah.
I think it was at my grandparents, and I don't know.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I remember my uncle being like showing it to people like in our family, saying like, "Look at that!" And I remember someone saying like, "Oh, that was probably one of my cousins who had like longer hair. It was almost like not like." I don't know, almost bowl cut, but very long.
Yeah.
But I could remember, I think in the picture is almost obscuring the eyes as well. Like the hair,
Weird.
I don't know. From what I remember. And it just looked very pale and almost like, I don't know. It was just weird. Like almost semi-transparent.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It was creepy.
I think if we ever go stay at the Whaley house, we should again do an episode where we watch the movie. And then do an episode about our experience there. Because don't they have a movie about it?
If they do, I have not seen it.
I think I haven't either.
We can't stay. We can do a night investigation.
I don't mean like stay at the house, but I mean
there.
like it would probably have to be a weekend trip.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some out of state ones. I would like to visit the Stanley Hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my really good friends stayed at the I think it's the Overlook. Is it the Overlook?
In the movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's in the movie.
Yeah. But Stanley.
The Stanley Hotel. I actually have a shot glass from the Stanley Hotel
that
she brought back for me.
That's
it
awesome.
says red rum on it.
Oh man.
You know what I've always been curious about? The Yellow House in Santa Barbara.
Yeah. It's like changed now. I think they did did renovations, which usually sometimes that kind of stirs up shit.
Yeah. I wonder. So there's this house. It's called, is it just the Yellow House?
The big yellow
house that's in Santa Barbara. Well, it's in one of the smaller, I think it's Summerlin.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's in Summerlin, which is like on its way up to Santa Barbara. It's a town right outside of it that is supposedly very haunted.
Oh man.
Yeah. I think they did like rituals there, like way back when.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Of course.
I've just always been curious about it. I'm like, it seems spooky.
Thank you for listening.
Concludes our episode of spooky shit.
Yeah, I encourage you all to share a spooky story with your friends.
Or with us. Tell us your spooky stories. I want to hear them.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, reach out to us on social media.
Yeah.
In Horror We Drunk Podcast. Or In Horror WD Pod.
Ooh, trick-or-treaters.
Oh, I'll go get the bowl of candy.
Oh, it's probably trick-or-treaters again. I'll go grab it this time. I'll be right back.